Good morning, Ma'am Girindra, Ma'am Zulfa, and my beloved opposite team. My name is Rahmatul. I'm the first speaker of Affirmative Group. And the topic of today's debate is this House would implement lockdown to combat COVID-19 in Indonesia. And we define the topic as an emergency protocol to prevent citizens from leaving and entering an area to reduce the spread of COVID-19 in Indonesia. Today, as first speaker, I will be talking about some important reasons of implementing lockdown in Indonesia. And my second speaker, Fania, will be talking about practical implementation of lockdown in Indonesia. And now I'm going to explain my argument. So my first point is implementing lockdown in Indonesia is crucial. Why? Because in Indonesia nowadays, the spread of COVID-19 is getting worse, and many people are getting infected by the virus. This happened because many people ignoring the president's call to practice social distancing. By abandoning social distancing, one can transmit the virus to others intentionally or unintentionally. And this proves that our country needs more strict rules to stop the spread of COVID-19 by implementing lockdown. Now let's say if we do not implementing lockdown in Indonesia, what will happen next? The case of people infected by COVID-19 in Indonesia will increase rapidly, and the hospital will be full of patients that infected by COVID-19, and the medical staff will be overwhelmed by the amount of patients, and it will impact our country, of course. And our country will need more time to recover from COVID-19, and the economic crisis will last longer. And we, the affirmative team, believe that by implementing a nationwide lockdown, we don't need a long period of time to stay home. Therefore, Indonesia will soon be recovered from the virus. And now, my second point is implementing lockdown in Indonesia is the most suitable protocol to be implementing in Indonesia. Now let me explain this. Indonesia is a huge peninsula with a large population, and it will be difficult if the government only rely on the discipline of the citizens to do social distancing or physical distancing, and the government will face difficulty to manage a large number of people at the same time. Therefore, the government needs a strict rules that can oversee citizens from a small amount of community until the large society. And we, the affirmative team, believe that lockdown is the suitable protocol to be implemented in Indonesia because lockdown will limit one's movement to go out of one specific area. And it can be started from the small community in village until a large population in city. And the local people can do it by themselves. They can take turn to look after people who's living or entering the area. Now, my third point is that lockdown will decrease the curve of COVID-19 case in Indonesia. Why? Because lockdown restricts a person to go outside very often, it can decrease the curve because there will be less physical contact in society. As we know that COVID-19 is a virus that can spread through physical contact between a person, and we might not know if the person is infected or not. So lockdown will prevent a person to go out from their area, and it will be slow the spread of COVID-19 and minimize possible transmission to high-risk population. And this will result in slowing the rate of infection or flattening the curve. Moreover, it will prevent overburdening of the country's limited healthcare facilities and workers. So, Ma'am Girindra, Ma'am Zulfa, and my beloved opposite team, we as the affirmative team would offer the most benefit solution for this COVID-19 in Indonesia, which is lockdown. And the president should announce the protocol officially. Therefore, we can implement lockdown simultaneously right away from the small population until the high-risk population, and our country will recover very soon from this pandemic. So I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. Good morning. I'm Diana. First, from first negative speaker. In here, I disagree about this statement. There are various ways to restrict COVID-19 that used in every country. In here, Indonesia choose lockdown. Why I disagree to implementing lockdown in Indonesia country? As we, as we know, lockdown has used in several countries to defeat COVID-19. This system, called lockdown, can be efficient if they know what is lockdown and how to set it. The first speaker affirmative said, lockdown refers to a type of quarantine in which all citizens in a certain region are prohibited from going in and out of the territory without official permission from authorities. What we mean by the motion is we would like to state that the implementing partial lockdown will help to decrease the spread of coronavirus in Indonesia. But in here, I think lockdown doesn't suit with Indonesia condition. In here, the speaker's statement about the importance of implementing lockdown in Indonesia only happened in theory, but didn't work in reality. Let's say some people who look this case from theory to the reality always blame the people who don't follow this rule. Actually, to the lockdown, we need fast movement and medical treatment. In my opinion, Indonesia as a big country have difficulty in implement lockdown because they late to take care of this problem from beginning, such as medical treatment, education of virus, and exact schedule or time to begin lockdown was different in every region in Indonesia. Actually, lockdown will effective if the setting of time begin in the same time in every region. And I hear first affirmative statement which show how late Indonesia educated about the virus spreading. Okay. In Indonesia nowadays, the spread of COVID-19 is getting worse. Many people are getting infected by the virus. This happened because many people are ignoring the president's call to practice social distancing. In the fact or in reality, the people would follow this rule of social distancing if there's such a strong foundation in economy and the ability to do lockdown. I never looked down of my governor country or my country, but the reality say this. You also said implementing lockdown is crucial in Indonesia, right? There are some reason and proof. They said that the government always warned the citizen to follow the rules of lockdown. Indonesia late to recognize the importance to stop international airlines. As cited in Wikipedia, that organization it started on 2nd April, when Indonesia started to forbidden foreign people to enter Indonesia, and the restriction for the airlines start on 24th April. So the time that we need is much longer to implement lockdown. In my opinion, if lockdown implemented in Indonesia forcefully, it will cause problem in economy. As we know, without lockdown, economy in Indonesia has been problem. Then you can imagine what aftermath in economy if Indonesia if it continue. Let's say if your solution is to give money as a compensation for lockdown, aftermath there are possibility for government to corrupt the money. As cited in Compass.com, the case of corruption of banks in West Kalimantan prove that this is not the best solution of in the country with economic problem as Indonesia. But in here I provide the best solution. In the conclusion, we can choose lockdown because it didn't suitable with Indonesia condition. Other option that we can choose is herd immunity. As cited in headline.com, herd immunity happens when so many people in the community become immune to an infectious disease that it stops the disease from spreading. This can happen in two ways. First, many people contract the disease and in time build up an immune response to it, which is happen in natural. And the second is many people are vaccinated against the disease to achieve immunity. Then, when a large percentage of the population becomes immune to a disease, the spread of that disease slow down or stop. Many virus and bacterial infections spread from person to person. This chain is broken when most people don't get or transmit the infection. This helps protect people who aren't vaccinated or who have low functioning immune system and may develop an infection more easily, such as adult. Herd, and I believe herd immunity can help stop the spread of illness like COVID-19. Why I choose herd immunity? Based on Indonesia condition, the people are etc. It more suitable. So the government just need to focus in the medical treatment. In every hospital that provide treatment for COVID-19 patients, it also decreases the possibility of corruption. The economical problem also save. In here, herd immunity can be the best solution in this country. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Fania Nushafina and I am the second speaker from affirmative team. Here I will present one argument and I will also review the arguments that are presented by Dian, the first speaker from opposition team. First, you say that herd immunity is a way to combat the spread of COVID-19 in Indonesia. We, affirmative team, strongly believe that herd immunity is an ignorant way to fight the virus. That is because herd immunity will only let the strong one to survive. Then how about the weaker one? How about those who don't strong enough to fight the virus by themselves? Should they die then? Of course they shouldn't. We should save as many souls as we can. In addition, if we let herd immunity happen, we believe that the curve will rise significantly. This could happen because new cases will appear every day. New cases means more struggles for medical team. As we all know, medical teams are already overwhelmed by this situation. They lack of medical equipment, they also lack of personnel. Also, Indonesia is a country with big population, so we are sure that those who do not have good immune system will be in a large amount of numbers. Therefore, herd immunity should have not be applied in Indonesia. Second, you say that the more people who have strong immune system, the more they help the weaker one. In this case, we talk about COVID-19. This virus can stay in that stuff, including our stuff, for hours. And within that hours, we can meet a lot of people out there. We can interact with them. We can maybe even do physical contact with them. Okay, let's say that we have good immune system and we won't get infected by the virus, and our droplets are also safe. But there is a big possibility that we become the carrier of the virus because it stays on our stuff. We can make those who don't have good immune system get infected. In this kind of situation, we should lessen our physical interactions with others. However, even though the government had already told us to do physical distancing, there are still a lot of people out there who just ignore the rule of physical distancing. What should we do then? We, affirmative team, would implement lockdown as the best way to combat COVID-19 in Indonesia. As this is because we must make a real big move to fight this virus. By implementing lockdown, we will have limited interaction with people outside our areas. We believe that this move will help our government to track down the infected much easier and much faster. It will also reduce the number of the infected and restrict the area with the infected. To implement lockdown, we can do these things. First, put portals at the entrance and the exits. This will limit people's movement in certain area. They can't just go to wherever they want to go. They need permission. Second, ban any public events. We should close places that will attract many people at the same place, such as cafes or maybe nightclubs. Third, keep crucial places open, such as hospitals, supermarkets, pharmacies, but we should apply health protocol there. Fourth, let the government track down the source of the infected in every areas, because lockdown itself will not work if we just shut the place. We should move to find the virus, we should move to find the source of the virus, and then we should get rid of it. We should take care of it. With the implementation of lockdown, tracking down the infected will be much easier and it'll be much faster. I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Milenia Dinar, the second speaker from opposing team. I will oppose and also review the arguments of the affirmative side that presented by Vania. First, you say that group immunity will only let the strong live and require the weak to die. Then you have to save as many lives as possible. In addition, if we allow herd immunity to occur, you believe that the curve will increase significantly. I do not agree. Herd immunity can occur when a group is immune to infectious diseases so that it can stop the spread of the coronavirus. To form a herd immunity can be achieved by giving vaccines and natural ways to make the body immune to disease from people who are infected so that in time will establish natural immunity. First, why choose vaccines? If we maintain cleanliness, it is not enough to get rid of disease. If not given the vaccine, COVID-19 will propagate quickly. Second, why the natural way? Consider the same case when the Spanish flu pandemic occurred. The disease is also endemic in Indonesia with 1.5 million deaths. This figure is much smaller than an estimated death in Indonesia due to the Spanish flu pandemic, which reached more than 4 million. This case of the Spanish flu shows that in the absence of the availability of vaccines and medicines at the time, some of the worst population who were infected could survive. This shows the body's ability to fight disease. When most of the population between 70% until 90% are immune to infectious diseases, they will provide indirect protection or herd immunity. For those who are not immune to disease, for example, if 80% of the population is immune to viruses, 4 out of every 5 people who meet someone with that illness will not get sick. In this way, the spread of the disease can be controlled and doesn't require the weak to die. With herd immunity, the virus will die alone in the body of people who have no symptoms or have symptoms with the assistance of endurance. Then the virus will not spread to others. Second, I pay attention to the second point at the end. You said, however, even though government had already tell us to do physical distancing, there are still a lot of people out there who just ignore the rule of physical distancing. So what should we do then? In areas that happily apply lockdown, especially my area in Tegal, I see how many people are still hanging around. Many people say that lockdown is the best way, doesn't reduce the number of corona positive patients. There are many infected patients in the hospital. Look at the culture of Indonesian society itself, which is difficult to obey the rules. Let alone lockdown, even physical distancing is still not ignored by the society. We see a number of countries that have done a lockdown before Indonesia, including Italy, France, and India, which ended in chaos. The curve actually increases, reflecting on other countries that have been locked down it failed. So there was a huge build-up. Can you imagine if one of them was exposed, how many people could be positive COVID-19? We can decide on something based on what is popularly done in other countries. With this, I do not agree that the implementation lockdown is the best way to combat COVID-19 in Indonesia. There is also more important than lockdown about considering carefully the economy of the middle to lower classes, where not a few of them depend on daily work. People in this category are considered to be most affected by the current COVID-19 pandemic. Therefore, saving lives is as important as saving economy. The community has the right to earn income. Then, is there another way to fight COVID-19? First, as I said at my first and second point, that herd immunity can be done with vaccines or naturally. In Indonesia, many health experts then the vaccine must be released immediately. I emphasize again in order to prevent returning of virus. Second, government must play a role, educate society by maintaining a clean lifestyle, healthy lifestyle, and making WFH policies for a while. With note, the government must help the economy of the middle to lower classes, and we, as a society, is fitting to obey the rules. That's all from me. Thank you.